Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Local Pundit. I'm Josh Anthony. This is your Wrexham latest news and update show and transfer show at the same time, the Breakfast Club for Saturday, June 14th. How are you? Are you ready for the best damn podcast of your life? I don't know. Maybe. I hope we're going to have a good day today. Going to walk through this Ryan Hardie possible signing. It's starting to ramp up a bit. As you can see on the thumbnail, it says Hardie to Wrexham rumors start to ramp up. They're following people on Instagram and on X. I'm getting pictures of this and that and the other shit all day long. So we're gonna dive into it. I'm gonna have my say. Give you a little bit. I did a little bit of research. I touched buttons before I came on. Did some research. I watched some videos of Ryan Hardie, and I feel pretty confident about what let me rephrase that. I feel pretty good about what I'm about to say about Ryan Hardie in regards to the fact that I think he's going to be a good signing if it happens. I don't know. I don't have concrete, but I have some information that I thought might shift the needle a little bit too. But I think this Ryan Hardie thing is going to start to heat up right there in the next couple of days. So keep an eye on this. Anyways, smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the Local Pundit if you haven't. We're at 2,300 on our way to 3,001. By the start of the season. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Hands down, happen to do it. So smash that like button, subscribe, share it out, get it all your friends, tell your cat, tell your brother, tell your grandma. Let's get it done. But today we're going to talk about Ryan Hardie, and then we're going to also we're going to touch on the Welcome to Wrexham episode with the broke down, I think it was episode 6 with Paul Mullen and with Ollie Palmer and those segments and what I saw in that too. So we'll dive right in. So let's just break down this Ryan Hardie thing. Okay, Hardie's obviously on the thumbnail. It says Hardie to Wrexham rumors starting to ramp up. Yes, I will say that now Ryan Hardie is now following McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds on Instagram. Yes, I have been sent clips of this. Did you see this? That they're following each other. Now, not indication. He's also following Dan Scarr. They used to play together at Plymouth Argyle. But this Ryan Hardie thing is starting to make more sense to me as I wake up in the middle of the night at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning with nothing else to think about other than Wrexham football, who we're going to sign. So, but let's break it down a bit. So, listen, he's 28 years old. It's great. Why it works, how it's happening, what's going down. So is the release clause triggered? We don't know. It says about $2 million, 2 million pounds. That's a possible, and if that's possible, Wrexham ready to activate that. He's a proven striker in the EFL. Plymouth Argyle, we're in a relegation battle. He did very well. He's a different kind of striker that we actually have. He runs the channels, doesn't get his headers, doesn't really go after headers, but he's a player that I think this is Parky written all over him. So with 1 year left on his contract, and then Tom Cleverley just being announced coming in, formerly of Manchester United, that is. Tom Cleverley is now the manager. He's got a problem on his hands. So think about this. Is his star striker, Ryan Hardie, going to be leaving, or are they going to open up the bank to keep Ryan Hardie at Plymouth Argyle for Tom Cleverley, who just got announced the other day? The talks possibly are underway. Again, we don't know. Everything is kind of speculation, but we're leaning toward the fact that this could be happening. It could be serious, and it could be our first summer signing, which is great. There's no other serious bids that are coming in. Preston North End have like cooled off a little bit. That was the thought process going then, but nothing has been significant. So what's Wrexham going to get if they get Ryan Hardie? So he scored 12 goals in 23-24, 10 in 24-25, despite they were facing relegation, and they did get relegated, and they were in a battle. Again, watching him, seeing the way style he plays, he will fit into the system. I think he will either I think he's going to play in a 2, not in a 1. That's how we play. He will either complement Smitty up front, bedhead, or he will possibly sit a little deeper. He does like to run through balls. Is something we're missing. A little bit of pace up front. I think that's possible. He doesn't want to get on the end of balls. We want to put the ball on the ground and put the ball on the deck and have him run through. So, but he had 25 goals in the championship, and in a struggling side that's gone through some ups and downs, Plymouth Argyle. But saying that for him, he's a perfect age right now for us to take him on because he's an established guy. And can he take us to the next level? Yes. So does it make sense for both sides? Meaning both sides. There's actually 3. You got Plymouth Argyle, you got Wrexham, and you have Hardie. what makes sense. You're looking at a contract, get him going. I think this does make sense. Is he durable? Can he adapt? He's played 77 league matches over 2 seasons. And listen, the championship is an absolute grind, an absolute bust up, as we will learn and know. We will learn and know. But he's comfortable both in the supporting role and the central role. But I think that he's going to play that possible. I think Smitty's going to be on the shoulder, and I think if we do play Smitty and him together, I think he'll play a little bit back and we'll put the ball through the channel for him. So he does like to be on the shoulder. He's got a little quick shimmy move to him. He is left-footed and right-footed, but he doesn't touch the ball a lot. That's the difference because we have that Ollie. If he does play that Ollie Palmer role, or for that matter, let's take on the J-Rod role, he doesn't touch the ball a lot. So this might be the guy maybe coming off the bench, or him and Smitty actually, swapping games. Could be possible. There's a lot of chat about the hair. Should I just put the goddamn hat back on? I will put the hat back on. There's George Clooney references. I'll take it all day. But should I put the hat on? Let me know. I will put the hat on if you need me, if it's distracting. Sean Deeby says, TL fam, what's up? What up, dude? 50,000 more than what we paid for fall. Matt Al, well, listen, you're getting goals, man. We're buying goals, and that's what we're going to do with Ryan Hardie. So a little bit of shift in the tactics here I want to talk about. As we know, I was just saying, Sam Smith is the primary center forward, but Hardie is more flexible, I think, than Smitty. Now, granted, I just said that I don't think Hardie will have a lot of touches, but in the 3-5-2 system, maybe they do a little bit more swapping right there too. But I want to just take that on too. He could be a good tactical fit. The money could be right. Everything could be right. I'm leaning toward this is probably going to happen. I said they're going to sign on June 27th, producer Ann's birthday. This, I think, is going to happen. I think he fits the bill. I think it's exactly what we need. And it's I know we talked about it in a couple of pods previous to this, but I actually think that this is going to be the one. So any concerns you want to talk about? Let's break down a few concerns with Ryan Hardie. Okay. Not really. He's had a couple, things here and there, but if we use him wisely, Parkinson knows how to manage his players' time and getting them on the pitch, on and off the pitch. I think he's going to be okay. So no major concerns. He's I think he's 6 foot. What's 188? Hold on, I'll do it right now. He is wait. I learned something the other day. 188 centimeters. What is that in American? Shoot, I screwed this all up. I thought I had this fixed. 188. He's lean though. Scotland International. Okay, 188. So he's probably 5'10". Maybe he's 5'10". Is that right? Okay. But, he doesn't he's a striker. He hasn't had broken legs. He doesn't pull hamstrings, but he is durable. I will say, playing 77 games in the last 2 seasons is pretty goddamn good. But solid minutes. He does play well. No minor injuries here and there as we would pick up. So I think he's going to be okay. So let's talk about this signing if it does happen. I think it's a very, very smart signing. Established player, knows how to score goals, can run the channels, knows what Parkinson's about. Plymouth Argyle, obviously, going through what they're going through. It should be an exciting signing for Wrexham. And I think 6'2". There you go. Thanks, 6'2". There you go. 6'2". Matt Al says 6'2". Nicky D says 6'2". There you go. Everyone just appreciate the correction. Probably because I don't have my hat on. I don't know shit about fuck. But yes, I would take the point. Listen, this is a very smart signing, very shrewd for the money and for the player quality profile, what he is. Can he help us shoot to the next level? I think so. But this is where we need. If this is our floor, I know we talked about Lewis as well. If this is our floor, we're starting off good. And I know it's June 14th today on Saturday, and it's the window's closed right now for some idiotic reason. I don't know, other than the Club World Cup, whatever that is, which we're going to watch tonight, by the way. But that's I think this is going to possibly happen. I think the movement and I know there's been pictures. Everyone's like flying drones over and like, oh, is that Ryan Hardie? Is it Wayne from the turf? I don't know. But I will say this too: the more and more the buildup that this comes, the more this makes sense for me. So it's $2 million, whatever it's going to be. To a championship striker, well established. Boom, Bob's your uncle. He does fit. Also, too, he does like the press. He is a presser up front. He can press, but yeah, he doesn't waste energy. He doesn't waste energy, but he will press. He will press up front, which is something I think we might need to do a little bit more rather than hang it back. I know we put a lot of long balls in the air, and again, he's not going to be a headed down guy. Maybe he can get on. Maybe he's on the shoulder, but I'd rather have the ball play to his feet. But he can bring the ball down, and he does have a good move about him. And again, left foot, right. So I'd say he does. He adds also depth to us, and he enables some shifts in the tactics too for Parkinson, especially when he's rotating. If rotating with Sam or playing with Sam. So if we are behind, which could be possible, we're going to be behind at some point. Possible, make tactical changes. I think he's a durable player and a player that he can adjust to the squad. John Merrill says Hardie's a good squad player, probably better than what you have, but I would expect you to sign a better forward still. So, okay, John, who is out? Who else is out there? Who else is gettable? Let's talk about that. And Matt says, I think Smith is a strong player in physicality. Hardie is a bit skinny. Well, nothing wrong with being skinny. Michael Pierce is also in the house. What's up, dude? I don't think Hardie should be a striker. You use him as a cam. But he doesn't touch the ball a lot, Michael. He doesn't touch the ball. His stats show me what I've done my research on him is, as Ken says, I'm the worst businessman and my organizational skills are absolutely crap. So I'm trying to improve on that. You got to improve. But what I'm seeing is he doesn't touch the ball a lot. So a cam, probably not. Maddie, what's going on, dude? Hardie would raise the floor, but not lift the ceiling. Adds quality depth for the forward line. Okay, that's a great point from Matt from Racecourse. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Matt and I were texting back and forth at 3 a.m. last night. I mean, my time, which is, I don't know why I'm up that sometimes, but I am. But yes, Hardie would raise the floor, but not the ceiling. Well, this is the quality of player we need to have, right, Matt? We totally agree with this. We totally agree this is the quality player we need to have. And I'm gonna tie this into what the episode I saw last night with the Welcome to Wrexham, with the Palmer, and with the Mullen thing. Now, I got a little Kardashian for me, like reality show stuff on the phone with Dad. Talk about that. I know they got to tell the storylines and things like that, but I'm wondering when that was actually shot. I know it said January 30th, but I wonder when it was actually shot. Let's see what that. Paul, Wrexham fan. I walked past the new club shop that is being built in town today. It's massive, like going to be Liverpool, and seeing the club shop. Okay, that's good. I love it. And Pat, he scored 10 in the championship last season. Our top scorer, allowing for Smith, had 8 goals. That's right, Pat. I mean, listen, he scores goals. You can watch, YouTube videos all day and see what he can do. He does score goals. He scores goals at the level we need him to do that. By the way, how's my sound, by the way? And if it sounds like 620, not 2Ms. 2Ms, okay? You're saying 650? That's not what I'm reading, but I don't know where you guys in 650. Nikki D says, I think we're building a stable of people who can perform well at the top of the championship. I don't think he'll be our main striker, but will be great cover for heavy game months. Okay, so let me ask you this, Nikki D. Now, I'm going to call you out in a good way. I'm also going to drop an invite in the chat. People want to come have their say about this as well, because it's summertime, and we're just we're going to keep it going as much as we could. Actually, it's Bigfoot summer, just so you know. So Sam Smith never played in the championship. He has. He scored goals in it. I'm not saying Sam Smith can't, but so what are we saying? We're saying he's not going to be our star striker because we like Sam Smith. Smitty's never played in the championship. He has. He scored goals. I think they both can work together. That's my thought. Relegation clause. There you go. Okay. He says 650 because of the relegation clause. Well, maybe they'll get up to 2Ms. I don't know. I think we'll get £6 to £8 million striker at some point this season. Nikki D, that is a lot of pounds. That's a lot of money. You think we'll do that? I think that's pretty good. Good morning, TLP fan. That's pretty good. Then 650 is a goddamn steal. So that's put Marriott in the 4th in pecking order. I mean, Hazard, Marriott 4th in the pecking order, possibly. Remember, we don't come into the cup games. I think it's the FA Cup. It's the 3rd round, so we don't have to deal with that crap. And there's no JBD Cup anymore, so that's good. Don't slag. I think Marriott is going to play a part. I think it all depends on who we're going to sign. The two signings that I actually really want is going to be someone who can control the midfield and a new center half. That's what I want. Those are the two players I want. Striker, I think we're going to take care of. I would like this. I think, I know we didn't score a lot of goals last season. But we were the 1-0 Kings. I think we had a lot of thumbnails on that. But we need to play the ball on the ground. We need to control the midfield, and we need a new center half and someone to control the ball in the midfield. But that said, I don't know. But staying on Ryan Hardie, he's got I don't want to read the XG, but he's got something about him that I think could really help out the team. Is it a good first signing? Yes. He's got good solid stamina. He is lean. I know we talked about it being lean, but he's a footballer. You know what I mean? What do you want? He's not a big burly striker, but he can run the channels. He does have pace. He knows his way about a goal. So let's see how that goes. He's got good shot conversion from what I can read right here. And he can press, and he runs off the shoulders, and that's something we don't really have right now. Smitty did do that a little bit in the last 4 or 5 games, okay? But running through, being on the shoulder, getting the ball on the ground, putting the ball in the back of the net, that's key. And he has proved it in a side that was going down for Plymouth. So take that for what it is, but there you go. I suppose it depends on your ambition, Josh. You want to chase playoffs. Example, Hardie isn't starting forward type of team. Very good squad player, as I said. Okay, fair enough. By the way, John, with a great shout there, too. Just going to give a heads up. Next Sunday is Champ Chat. Next Sunday is the first championship chat show, which we'll be doing. And it's going to be about the full championship, about signings, about everything. Trying to get Matt from Racecourse to come in involved as well. We're trying to get guys and gals to come in and just have a championship chat about the league, about the team, about teams, players, about outgoings, ingoings, everything about the championship chat. So we're calling it Champ Chat, which is going to be great. Excited about that one. That is next Sunday, starting probably we got 3:00, so Ken can wake up and have his first cup of coffee, and we'll do that. So it might be rolling squad, but definitely John Merrill is going to be a part of that with his awesome knowledge. And so we're going to drag Matt to it, and anyone else wants to do that. So it's going to be really fun. It's really, really fun. So keep that on your radar. Champ Chat is also in the Discord, so get that out there too. Nikki D, say maybe my math is off. How much of the top striker would be worth? I just think Hardie won't be our best striker that we signed. That fine. I think that's Nick. I think that's not bad. You know what? I'm going to agree with you. It's not like we're signing, Rooney in his prime or whatever. But he's a good, solid championship striker. That's what I'm saying. So I kind of agree with you. If we go out and spend 6 M's, 5 M's on a striker in this level, shit, yeah. Rock and roll. Let's do this. Bob's your uncle, 6 to midnight. There you go. MILF Hunter all day. Pat says we're not a star. This is a good shout too, Pat. Pat, it's a good. We aren't a star player team. We're a team that's made us stronger by the right parts and putting together. It's our super juice. Yes. Hardie looks like he would be a good team player. I agree with that too. That makes good sense right there, Pat. So it's the sum of all the parts, not the individuals. That's sum of all parts, not the individuals. I like that. What caused Argyle relegated? Poor defense without Scar. No, I just think that team's been in kind of turmoil for the past. John would know a little bit better than this, probably. They've had some turmoil and they haven't been able to stabilize, and that's part of it too. So that's my thought process. John says truckers are very hard to find. That's the biggest issue. There aren't many around these days, but the good ones cost about 15 M's. Oh, kind of like John, like Stansfield, right? See, he put a little dig in there. See the dig he put in there. I like it. I love it. That's why I like John. I like Hardie. I really do. I think he's one of those guys who, like Patrick said, is a good squad player. We can count on. Now, the point of this isn't to say that he's going to be our star striker. That's not why we're doing this. That's not why we talk about it right now. Is this a player we want? Yes. Can we get him? Yes. Is he available? 1 year left on his contract? Possibility. Will he bring value to the squad? Is he a good striker? Yes. All tick, 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 tick all day. Now, we haven't even signed him, and everyone's already shitting on it. Like, oh, he's not going to be our star striker. That's ridiculous. My point is, I think this is going to be our first signing, and I think we're going to get him. But as the rumors ramp up, great. But you guys take it for what you want. Guys and gals take it for what you want. I think it's going to be a good signing. So I like the ambition of going after it. And there was an article about AO saying we're going to go after it too. I totally agree with it. But again, it's like fucking chopping wood with you people sometimes. It's like, oh, he's not great. He's $2 million. It's $650. This is a good signing if we get him. It's a good signing. The right parts being together is a force multiplier for us. Wow, force multiplier. That's true. It's funny. The company I consult for uses force multiplier for their sales pitch. I love it. Good shout. And we didn't need stop upper strikers up to this point, says Hazard. I think our defense will get better and we will still be hard to score against. I think so too. I think that's going to be Parkinson's MO. Let's not give up a bunch of goals. And Esteban says that seems to be Parky's MO, though, to strengthen the team to begin on a competitive leg and adjust for the finals. Yes, so I think Parkinson is going to thrive. He's going to thrive, by the way. John says Stansfield did score 12 goals in the championship the last time around. It's truly a truly terrible team. As for Plymouth, they went down for multiple reasons. One was Mr. Rooney, but they weren't good enough. True. I agree with that 100%, my friend. Nick says he wasn't shitting on him. I'm just, we're just batting it around here. Nick, you haven't been in a while, dude. You got to pop in. I just meant I'm happy with him. I just think he's just the beginning. Sorry for the lie. Look, all good. You can't read intention in text sometimes. There you go. Esteban, you keep putting the same fucking thing in the chat, dude. What are you doing? Okay, let's move on. Get your say. Do you want him or not? Do we want him and plus other strikers? Ryan Hardie. I think all signs are pointing to this is possibly happening. Again, I'm getting messages behind the scenes. I don't have concrete information. I could be totally wrong, but I think this is possibly a good signing. It's going to cause Tom Cleverley, who's coming in, not very established manager. If I'm Ryan Hardie, a year left on my contract, I'm looking over. I'm calling Dan Scar and I'm like, dude, what do you think? And because he's played together, Scar's like, yeah, come over here, bro. Let's do this. I think that's happening. Cleverly coming in, that's not looking good. League One, stay in the championship, boom, get up to the league, the Prem. Awesome. Now let's just shift gears a little bit too. Let's shift a little gears too. So I watched the Welcome to Wrexham episode 6, and it was mainly focused on the Palmer and the Mullen situation throughout the season. Mullen had some great quotes in regards to the fact he was a little frustrated, had some resentment. All right, so let's take Mullen first, okay? And then we'll talk about Palmer. Mullen was getting resentful. He was coming up with his injuries. They said it was going to take 6 weeks and get back to running. Then it took 8 weeks, then 10 weeks, and he couldn't get himself back out, back to full fitness. So we're not revisionist history. This is what was happening. And we didn't know all this. There was a lot of stuff that happened throughout the season with Palmer and Mullen. Let's just take Mullen real quick. Mullen that we didn't know, we suspected was going on. What was happening? We thought, all of us thought, to a man, a woman, child, dog, cat, Mancoon, whatever, thought that there was more to it. He wasn't sharp. He missed sitters. For a guy who has been as potent as he is like he is as potent in front of goal, League 2, League 1, National League, and just wasn't putting it away. He clearly wasn't right. Mentally, on the pitch, off the pitch, physically, all that stuff. We saw that. But now, number one goal is for him to, as a club and as a supporter, for Paul Mullen to be healthy. Football is always secondary to health, as you know. And as you know, because they had other things going on in that episode that I'll just leave it aside right now. But let's stick on the football side of things. We knew things were happening, and we knew things were happening that they weren't quite coming out and saying, because it would have caused more of a kick up throughout the season, and it would have caused more. Well, maybe not. Let me take that back. I want to get your thoughts on this too. If they'd come out and said if the injury is worse than it appeared to be after the surgery, do you think it would have made a difference, and we would have settled down on it for a while? Because there were a few months there where we thought like, oh, geez, what's going on with him? Or do you think it would have made it worse? Better or worse? I want to get your thought. But my point of all this is what I'm saying about just sticking with Mullen here, watching the episode. He clearly wasn't right, but he is a legend. When do you think it turns into Do we let him go play football if he wants to go play football, or do we keep him around for next season to go play in the championship? And I said, I'd love to get the opportunity to play in the championship. I've changed my mind a little bit. I said that we might let him go. I think he's going to stay. I think Mullen's going to be here next year. I don't know what capacity he'll play, but I think because of his scoring history with the club, a little nostalgia, a big nostalgia guy, I think Paul Mullen's going to be here next season. I do. I just have a feeling. I don't know when those segments were shot. I'm not saying I completely agree with it in regards to the fact it's football. I said this summer might be a ruthless summer. But I think Paul Mullen might play a part next season. I thought he would play a part toward the end of this season as well, and I was wrong. Yeah, I don't think he played last game. I mean, I don't know. He did not play at all once the strikers needed Palmer. I think he's like February 12th was his last game. But I think there's a future for Paul Mullen. I don't know what that is. I think he's going to stay. Now, what say you? I'll get to the chat, and then we'll shift over to the Palmer part of it too. Again, I don't know when those scenes were shot, but I have thoughts on why they were done and why that happened last night. I do. I just don't think I can put them out there right now. Okay. Nikki D says, it was a tough watch. Felt so bad for those guys and the poor little guy, Archie. Absolutely, for sure. If you want, go watch the episode 6, that is. I read that Erickson actually reached out to the club and indicated he was interested in coming. Has anyone else heard specifically? No, Patrick, we'll look into that. That's he had left Manchester United. But no one wants to come in and chat with me all the time. I drop it in the chat. People are gun shy for the summer. I mean, no, it's Saturday, but Jesus. Esteban, I feel very vindicated about my thoughts about Paul Mullen not having healed correctly. Yes, you did. You did say that, Esteban. I know a lot of us did. I honestly been thinking Parkley's been protecting him from himself. Why do you say that, bro? Let me know. John says, saw the Mullen thing on Welcome to Wrexham. Fair credit to him for that. He came across really well, but also had some body language of someone who knows his time is done. As for Palmer, I'll get to the Palmer stuff next. I'll get to the Palmer stuff next. I understand what you're saying about him being hopeful. Those were cut. If you've noticed, they were cut in 2 different times. One, he was at the coffee shop doing an interview, and then I think he was at home, probably at a studio or something like that. 2 different thought process. I think they were shot different times, and they cut it together, and they put a good episode together. It keeps you guessing, but I still think Mullen has a chance to play next season. I don't know. I know we're going to go in, but I've changed my mindset. Just unless he gets an offer, I think I changed my mindset. Stephanie Mitzel, what's going on, Stephanie? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything's well. If we're serious about competing, he needs to be gone. Wow. That's not even a discussion. You just went full 6 to midnight right there, Stephanie. Okay, fair enough. I don't know if they're going to do that. I thought I was with you a few weeks ago, Steph. Sorry, Steven. I was saying Steph? Steven Mitzel? That was Steven Mitzel. This is what happens when you're dyslexic. You're a sentimental old guy, aren't you? Well, apparently I'm dyeing my hair too, John. But this is why I'm going to love Champ Chat. Fucking John's going to bring it all day, every day. Esteban says, plus that episode was also about revitalizing Sean Harvey's image. He must got a lot of shit behind the scenes for keeping him in the leadership. Wow. You think so, Esteban? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm going to have to rewatch it again. But I know they did that. I just want to rewatch it. Yeah, okay. Wow. There's a lot going on here. I just met a new friend, and they were like, and I told them about the podcast, and they were like, so you do shows every day in Wrexham? I said, yeah. And they said, there's not a lot to talk about, is there? I said, oh, of course there is. And the shocking part was they were like, every day? I'm like, yeah, there's a storyline every single day. We are as the world turns, for sure. And this person was like, wow, I was shocked on that. And what we're talking about right here with the episodes and what's going on through the summer, and you're right, you can turn a story every day, which I thought was very interesting. Shout out to that person, they know who they are. But you're right. With that, talking about the Sean Harvey's image. True. Now we could have done a whole show on that for sure. And interesting. But I wanted to say that there's so much going on with this club on and off the pitch. It's kind of amazing. We are acting as if we are a Liverpool, a United, Arsenal. There's just so much interest, so many storylines that are there throughout the off season, which makes it what an incredible journey and a story. Now, I talked to someone else yesterday too, and about our community as well. And we have an amazing podcast, but we have an even better community. It's not about the podcast; it's about the community, which I think the interaction is what I really thrive on, and how this keeps going. So I love this interaction. I love the conversation, and talking about the Paul Mullen story, the Ryan Hardie story, which is probably top of mind, and about the story about Sean Harvey. I think all these things come into play, and we got to keep the conversation going throughout the summer, because otherwise it just sometimes will go dead. But this just keeps us informed. And I watched the Welcome to Wrexham series, which I love, and they do a fantastic job. What a great shout out to all of them too. But there are so much more we can tell throughout that season. I would love to get the opportunity to do that throughout the season. I would love to keep telling these stories. And just sitting here, just like through the chat right now, I know I'm going off on a tangent, through the chat, just listening to things like what is on top of mind for all of you. I think it's pretty amazing. So credit to all of you and this fantastic community. Drew does whatever, and he does whatever. Literally, he stays up till like 8:15 if he wants to. Probably would have increased the pressure. Talking about Paul Mullen, I'd love to see him play a game. I didn't expect him to play at all last year. Honestly, I was surprised to see him so soon. I think he was forced into that, my friends. Anyway, I agree with that too. But yeah, please get your thoughts on that. You think he came back early? It sounds like they told him a timeline, and he just wasn't healing properly, and that happens. It's not, I'm not saying doctors are right or wrong all the time, but like that happens. You're not going to always be back to 100% right when they say, it's going to be 6 weeks, like a bone break, maybe. Okay. Surgery, different story. I'm still dropping it in the chat. What the hell's going on here? If people want to come keep you company, doing that. All right. If Mulls has a role to play next season, you're going to be in serious trouble at this level. Bring that up on Champ Chat, dude. I like that comment there too. CR, from a personal point of view, I don't think I'll have any part. I'll have any part to play in from here on in. That was for last season, CR. He said it. That was for last season, but he said he wants to play in the championship. One game. Glenda says, "I hope you're right about Mullen." And what else? Let me catch up with the chat here. Patty's in the house. What's going on, dude? How you feeling, my friend? Mullen is simply falling behind, leaving sentiment aside. Who is better, Barrett or Mullen? Not who can be better? Patty's coming with the harshness. There you go. Yeah. Did you meet this? Wow. I guess I'm in for that. I have not dyed my hair, but I love the fact that it's out there. But I wore a hat for the last 3 years doing a show, 3+ years. But yeah, this is my hair. This is absolutely my hair. If I can get producer Ann to confirm it, I will promise you that I do not dye my hair. But keep it going. I think it's great. Maybe we'll get a Just for Men thing. Esteban says, word from the doctors that he wasn't right, so he kept out of the squad to encourage his healing. Paul wanted to play, not being in fully with his head for sure. And A2ZEVs, what's up, dude? And damn, you late again. I was early. And Webby, what have you got on your TV in the background, Josh? Well, it's Bigfoot Summer, and that is Siskiyou County, Happy Camp, all that stuff. So that's on my TAVERN Productions. Go watch that. But yes, it's Bigfoot Summer. You all know why that's up. And in the chat, you can get that too. As the world turns, the TLP and Guiding Light. Yes, actually, I was on True Soap Operas. If you didn't look that. Poor Josh is his worst nightmare. People think he dyes his hair. I love it. Thanks, Nikki D. And Pat, we all have a place in a heart for Mullen. We all want to see the fairy tale return. Is Wrexham the fairy tale prone? Well, they are, obviously. They want that to happen. Okay. Get your thoughts in the chat about Mullen down below. Get through that. Also subscribe and share it out. Let's go. And hit the like button too. We have 100 people here, so let's get that 100 people going. Keep the algorithm going. Let's switch over to the Palmer part of this too for the Welcome to Wrexham episode. All right. Sorry, before I do that, I don't know, but I think it's going to happen on the 27th, A to Z, and I think it's going to be him. All right, let's switch over to the Palmer part of the Welcome to Wrexham episode. I'm going to give my say on that too. Look, I felt bad for Palmer on the phone with his old man, talking about his dad, talking about I put so much effort into the squad. He was hurt, he was pissed, whatever, and he should be. He kind of got cast to the side. Let's be honest. And fair play to me, everyone who's here. I was harsh on him during the season. He wasn't scoring goals. I called him a utility striker, which is basically some of the role. Now, puts in a shift, all that stuff. Listening to him, I mean, he's a human being. So like Mullen, like us all, he's a human being. Think about it. You're playing, you put your heart and soul and everything, okay, into the team. You're practicing in a week. You're part of the squad. And all of a sudden, you're cast aside. Trust me, I've been there. Currently, I've been cast aside in my current life. And it sucks. And it hurts. Now, when you're a competitive sportsman or woman, and all of a sudden, what you were doing is taken away from you for whatever reason, whether you're out of control or, in your control or out of your control, that hurts. This is why people fall in love with the show Welcome to Wrexham, because it's not about football mainly. It's about people and their stories. And Rob and Ryan and everyone that's producing that show and everyone in town talk about why the show is successful. And it's not successful because they're capitalizing on, people's heartache or love or positivity, whatever. Swarberg and I talked about this too when we, shout out to him, by the way, talked about this too. Just it's all about telling stories, and that's telling stories. Last night they were telling two different stories, two stories, two strikers. And so I felt for Palmer last night. I did when I watched it. I did. And talking to his dad, whether I know how unscripted shows are produced and cut and done, but you still have to get it out there. You have to be willing and able to put yourself out there to do that. And he did. Whether they said, hey, have a phone, I'm not saying this happened. He had a phone call with his dad. They recorded it. It was an honest phone conversation. They interviewed him. He was honest and put it out there about how he felt. And that is hard to do in itself, to even just vocalize that, how you're feeling inside as a human being. And I felt for him. And I feel bad for how much shit we gave him during the season. Now, does he have a future at the club, football-wise? I don't know. Possibly no. Was he expected to leave in January? Possibly. Maybe he dug his heels in. Maybe whatever. Didn't happen. But listening to him talk about it in the capacity of a one-on-one interview, having his dad, being open, being vulnerable, which is so hard for anyone to do, you have to take that into consideration as a human being, and for the fact that he was playing his ass off and doing his job to the best of his ability at the time, and then having it taken away from him. That's got to hurt. So I give him full credit for that. Rob and Ryan and everyone and Humphrey and everyone at the club will do whatever they can to help support all of their players. They're not going to cast guys aside. And I think it's impressive. And again, we have Welcome to Wrexham behind the scenes, basically, to see what was going on. And not all clubs have that. And I got to give a lot of credit to the producers and to Ollie for that segment of what they did last night for him. They humanized him in a way where it's like he's not just a football player, he's a human being. And I thought that was really good. So the Weenie, McElhoney, Reynolds, all those guys, Ryan, Swarberg, everyone that produces that show. Awesome. Good job. And I like it. And that's why we love this club. That's why we fall in love with the players. That's why we get the sentiment. We're like, oh, we don't want to let them go because, X, Y, and Z, all this stuff. That was a good episode. A good segment in the episode. And if I'm going to be harsh right now on all of that, I don't think he has a future in our championship squad. I don't. Footballing wise. But I respect the fact that they did that last night, that segment we got put together. I know we got off on a tangent there, but I want to give my piece in that too. Okay, let's get to your thoughts in the chat about that too, about the Palmer Welcome to Rex episode. Because I would like to see that too. I've also, by the way, Thayer was in that episode too. Awesome, great too. Oh, Esteban's coming in. Whoa. What? All right, before I get to the chat, I gotta bring the peeps in. Esteban, what up, dude?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Say hi to Orchid.
Hey now.
This is Orchid.
Hey
she's
now.
She's my little baby.
And she said, you know what? See ya. Wouldn't want to be.
No, she's right here. She likes to circle around.
Okay. Is she dyeing her hair too?
No, this is her color.
Okay.
This
cool.
is she's actually a little bit older. She's like 14, 15 years old.
Looks like my cat Banksy boy.
I know. She's beautiful.
Awesome. What say you, bro?
All right. So listen, I have been holding on to this theory for half the season, and I've been banging it every chance I get. I honestly feel that Palmer sticking around is sort of a PR move. That the guy is, how can I say? He's kind of the face of Wrexham. He's on all the advertisements. He's a good-looking fella. He's well-spoken. They want to keep him around because he's a feel-good kind of guy, and he's got 6 months left in his contract. Just let him finish up. And I think he's being groomed for other things. I think he's being groomed for being a pundit. I think he's being groomed for his clothing line that, from what I understand, is based in Wrexham. Just kind of like let him finish off that way and pursue other things. Okay. I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I think he wants to just end his career and be done with it. And that's kind of how I see the Palmer situation kind of working out.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, the guy was pissed off that he was a little hurt that he didn't get a chance to play, but and it was you're right. It was really, really good to see kind of the human side of that.
Okay.
But
so Matt's pushing. They don't want to keep him around. They want to try to push him out the door on deadline day.
Yeah, they did. But I think him pushing to stay around, they were like, okay, let's not rock the boat. I think there was so much going on, and there was such a push for, like what's going to be the next thing. Let's go for promotion, and he wanted to be part of the promotion club in whatever fashion, that there was. So they were like, you know what, fucking stay around.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that it was more about not rocking the boat and not causing any undue controversy, and about looking forward.
Okay.
So that's kind of my take on that.
Okay. You want to hit the Mullen thing?
The Mullen thing, I've been saying it from the moment that he was not on that he wasn't on the bench anymore. I have felt all along that he wasn't playing at 100%. Even the times that we did see him on the pitch, he wasn't at 100%, and we could all see that he was like a couple of steps behind everybody. He wasn't connecting. What was the word he used? It wasn't regret. It wasn't remorse. What was it that he felt? He said it.
He was he said resentment.
Resentment, right. I think that resentment that he was feeling was a combination of his body not responding to him starting to feel the pressure of not being able to number one, connect with his players, number two, being kept out of the lineup. I think all of that was messing with his head, and he just wasn't able to be 100%.
Let me pause right there. Matt, you might know this better than me, not to cut you off, dude. Matt, do they have a sports psychologist at the club, Matt? I don't want to put that to you, Matt, in the chat. Let me know. But sorry. Anyone else that knows? I think Matt would probably know the best in that too.
Well, the guy that he was sitting with was identified as a sports psychologist, wasn't he?
Was he? I thought it was a reporter. Or I could be totally wrong. Maybe I missed
No,
it.
no. He was. I think I saw it in the captions that he was like a team sports psychologist.
Okay.
Can anybody corroborate this
Yeah.
in the chat?
Yeah, he's been to doc a couple of times. He's been on the doc. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. Great. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Thank you for clearing that up. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
So yeah, I really look. I think it's really good that they showed us those kind of behind the scenes things of him being vulnerable like that. I think one thing that I realized about us 40-something men, right, is that, at least for me, it's been so difficult in my adulthood to like make friends and be friendly with other people because, and it wasn't until I realized that if I chose to be vulnerable with other men, that's when I could actually connect, right? And that has been really, really, really difficult to do. And so many young men, at least it was for me as a young man, all we wanted to do was make our father figures, our dads, our teachers, whatever, to make them proud, to have that validation in their eyes. And I think one of the things that we forget as middle-aged men is that is what's going on in a lot of these guys' minds, is that they're young men.
It's immortality. It's immortality as a 30-year-old.
Yeah. They want to make their dad proud, and in this case, their dad figure, their father figure, is Parky.
Yep.
And I think that not being able to, because he mentioned that too, not being able to like produce for his quote unquote father figure at that moment was fucking with him, because he wasn't able to produce for him, and he was starting to be left out of the lineup. And so that, I think, compounded, and that caused that remorse. I think that really messed with his head.
Yeah,
So,
Stephen, to your point, he says real vulnerability is not questioning why manager lost trust in him, rather recognizing the manager made the right decision, understand why he made the decision. Yes.
Yeah.
Your point, it was it's hard to come back from an injury, then lose your spot, then you overcompensate and things don't still go right, and you have to step back and figure that out. That is something
absolutely.
that's really,
yeah. And I've been like, I think because from, as an educator and observing how students come back from setbacks, right? That's a huge thing in what I do in special education, is when students have a hard time coming back from setbacks, a lot of times I end up losing it even more because they can't reconnect with that success. And I think a lot of that is what was going on with him. Listen, autism there's a hereditary component to autism. So I wouldn't, he's been obsessed with playing football his entire life. So I wouldn't doubt it. There was a tinge of autism going on with him where he has a hard time connecting when he has setbacks, right? But that's just kind of apropos of nothing. It's just an observation. And I think that's what I've been connecting with myself, is that I'm seeing this pattern of him not being able to connect his body with what's going on with his mind, with having had a setback, both physically and mentally, right? And he's just having, and I think that's what caused that remorse, or what was it again?
Resentment.
That resentment to Parky. And it's so good for him to have realized that and to have expressed that, because I think that's going to ultimately be the thing that heals him fully.
Well, that's why
recognizing that.
Recognize it. So that's why I think, in my opinion, that he will have, like, you have to take the losses and the hits to go backwards, to be down, to get back up. I think he's going to get an opportunity to get back up. I know everyone's like, it ain't going to happen, all that, we need to have better strikers. But that's why I think for him, that's why I think the storylines last night, or whatever it was, are different. I do think that he has the ability to do so. And I think, maybe he took that hit a little differently. There's a reason why they did that episode last night. There is a reason. I actually knew something about, not specifically, but now I understand why. So watch the space on that too.
And at the end of the day, I think Parky is the kind of decent man that wouldn't push his guys to break. And I think he was starting to see Paul breaking, and he was like, you know what? I'm not going to let you break. And that's, I think that's the reason he's seeing the counselor. I think that's the reason he's continuing to do his rehab. And that's why he's letting him on the training pitch and not necessarily the team, right? And he also got to play for the reserves, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he didn't get any playing time. He got some playing time with the reserves, and he did well there, right? So I think that it's been a longer journey of recovery for him than he wanted it to be, or rather than he expected it to be.
Yeah, you said 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's you're not reacting to that. That's a whole deal,
right?
Yeah. And Pat says, I've been beating the mental drum all year, which makes me think if he can get over the mental, there might be more to him. I agree
with that 100%.
I agree with that. And Stephen says, all players believe that, Nick. It was clear that why Parky made the decision and proved to be the right decision. It was clear to me that Mullen didn't understand that. At least not at the time of the filming. He didn't. That is a hard. Even the Palmer was like, whether Matt has more information than we do, 100% about what was going on the ground, 100%. If they try to push him out, they try to push him out. You want to say, screw it, I'm not going anywhere. But it's still a mental, mind fuck. That you need to get through that. And that's why I kept saying that from the middle of the season. I'm like, Parky's protecting him from himself. Something's going on that we're not seeing, and Parky's protecting himself. And I gotta tell you, I respect that about Parky. I think Parky has been taking care of these guys all along, and I frankly think that's the reason that Fletch has been let go, because Fletch's body is just not what it used to be. And as much as it hurts, and as much as his contribution has been tremendous, he also had his own bed in the training room. The guy had his own training regimen. He had his own recovery regimen, and I think that kind of came to a head, and that's the reason that it came in. It came in. Luckily, we have the show Welcome to Wrexham, which we're all so very excited to see the backstory, to look at it, whatever it is, whatever it's, that's really good. We have that. So we can reflect. And, because we went through the whole season, this and that, and the other thing. So it's really good on the pundit here and all of the good channels. But it's good that we have that too. Now, I'm going to shift gears right here. I'm going to bring this back to the Hardie situation. We'll finish on a high, get everyone out of here for the Saturday. Okay. I just can't reconcile.
Thanks, Josh.
No, stay here. No, you're not going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
No, you're not going anywhere. Hold on. That was a transition.
Oh, sorry.
I'm doing the transition. All right. Hold on. Sorry, my bad. I'm not going anywhere. See, this is Ken says I'm the worst organizer and worst person on the planet to work with. There you go.
No. I apologize. I didn't mean to step on your transition. Go on.
You're good. That's good. That's probably my fault. So CR says I just can't reconcile signing Hardie with Mullen in the squad, regardless of what I want to happen. Now, back to the beginning of the show. Ryan Hardie. Do you like him? Floor or ceiling? What is this? I know you had something in the chat in regards to, do you like this signing? I think it's going to happen. Is this someone you want to come into the squad?
Are you asking me?
Of course I am.
I do not know, and I wish that I knew more. And I'm going to go and find the Hardie videos and watch. But what little I have seen of Hardie, yeah, he looks good. He looks like a guy that can go on the attack and make some exciting plays happen. So why not?
Why not? Okay.
And besides, he's coming from. Okay, so I remember watching some of the highlights for Plymouth Argyle when they beat Arsenal in the FA Cup, right?
I think so.
Was it Arsenal?
Yeah.
They beat somebody in the FA Cup that was
Liverpool.
really
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought that team that he looked pretty exciting, and that team looked, I thought, wow, look at these guys, kind of beating a giant, if you will. And then of course they got relegated and everything, but it was a hard fought win. And I thought, to bring a guy from a team that's like scrappy like that, I think that's the right kind of player. Somebody who's going to be scrappy and is going to want to get his body in there, even if he's not that big. So because he's not that big. Okay.
Heart of a lion. Let's go. There you go. And he handles his business. Sea Lord says, I need to go back and listen to the first 30 minutes of the show. I missed. Absolutely loved the Palmer and Mullen discussion, guys. Now, I'm going to pause the show briefly, too. And stay with me, Esteban. I'm thinking about launching another podcast that isn't football related called Shoot the Rehearsal, kind of like just more of a conversation podcast about life and things like that, a topic of mine, things like that. So just putting that back out there for everybody, because I know discussion, and you brought up certain things about being, things like that, about just, I'm thinking about doing something else. I wonder if the community would like to do that, not just football related, just life related. So I'm thinking about doing that. Here you go. Boom. Hot topic right there.
That's interesting. That's interesting that you say that. Last week, Sean Dizzy and I joined something called the Dragon Chat, which is a men's group. So kind of a mental health, and that was really, really eye-opening and very welcome. I think that, like I was saying earlier, one of the things that I've come to realize in my middle age is that how little we are prepared to be vulnerable, and how difficult it is to make friendships. And it took me a long time to really join the community. It took me about half the season to really kind of get into the swing of being part of the local pundit. I very much felt like an outsider, like I didn't know enough. And you've always been so welcoming, and you and Ken have read my comments every once in a while, and it there's a component there that it's nice to kind of be validated for one's thought, right? And it's like, and so it took me a long time to get into the Discord chat and to kind of see what was going on there, but it was because of this shared love that we had for this team, right? And this community, that we created this community.
Yep.
And there have been times when we've kind of in the background helped each other through things, and kind of listened to each other. And look, it's been a fucking hard year for everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And there seems to be, I listen, I'm not going to get political at all, but there seems to be, it's like a fucking kettle. There's a level of like heat that's being put on society right now, and like I think we're all to a certain extent feeling it, right? That there's something about to boil over, and there's just things simmering under the surface, and it's scary. It sucks. Part of it is, I've been unemployed for a little while, and there's a stress to that as well. And so, having been part of this community and like learning about something new has been really, really healthy for me. And so I realized, okay, I'm having, like, I can say that I've been forging friendships with some of the people here. And that's difficult to say as an adult man. Is like, I'm making new friends, right?
Yeah.
And so I joined this group because I was having a hard time last week, for sure. And I joined this group, and they were so welcoming. They were so wonderful. And for those of you men, I encourage you, join them. I invited them to join us at the local pundit. I mean, we're just beautiful global community that we're creating, and all because we all started watching this documentary that you know,
Yeah.
I think honestly it all goes back to even I think it all goes back even to Ted Lasso. I think a lot of us started kind of this journey by watching Ted Lasso and kind of like, hey, what is this? What is this game? What
Yeah.
you know? And then Welcome to Wrexham comes at the end, at the tail end of that, and you know, like this journey has been really, I think, very healthy for a lot of us, and
I think
and I'm so grateful to you, Josh, because you know, so
you as
yeah,
well.
so to answer your question, yeah, I think it would be a great thing for you to do something like that as well,
Yeah.
where people can come in and just bullshit with each other, because
Yeah.
we all need that. We all need an outlet. We all need the ability to express, you know. And I think that watching Mullen and Palmer yesterday, like being real about what they were feeling, and about, you know, about, you know, feeling remorseful, and about feeling you know, like shit because they were being left out and not knowing what to do. I think we all experience that, right?
Yeah.
But like, and a lot of us don't have an outlet to deal with it, and so what do? We get pissed off at our wives, we get pissed off at our partners, you know, we vent in
Mhm.
inappropriate ways, we drink, we smoke pot, whatever the fuck our coping is, instead of just
Talking.
talking and being vulnerable with one
Yeah.
another. And
Why,
that's the only thing that's gonna bring us any real healing. And
why
so I tip my hat to you for that. So
Thank you. I think you just confirmed what I wanted to do. So I think if I can make it happen, maybe we'll launch a shoot the rehearsal, and it doesn't have to be anything. Shoot the rehearsal podcast. We all can talk, whatever topics, whatever. That's maybe what we're doing. Then you think it can convert it. And by the way, Sea Lord said you're a real one, Esteban, and I appreciate you. Says Mulberry Red. Nikki D appreciates you as well. And TLP has helped my mental health so much with the best community. Good. Well, maybe we can do this. And I feel that maybe we could do that. Mel and Lionel all agree with you. So we'll sort this out. I might do this. And I know, like I said, Esteban's a good dude. We talk offline, which is great. So
and thank you all so much for your comments. I saw some of the comments. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
And we're always here, man. We're always here. We're always here. I appreciate it, man. Well, good. All right. Saturday plans for you, and then we'll get everyone out here. But you got to get us out of here.
Saturday night plans for me?
Yeah.
I have you know, my Saturday date with the wife. We make big bowls of popcorn, and we either play video games, or we watch something on the TV, and you know, hang out with one another. So
Awesome.
that's what we're gonna do.
Good, man.
And
Good.
on that bombshell,
Another bombshell. All right. Esteban, absolute legend. Esteban, I'll call you afterwards. Esteban absolutely just confirmed everything too. What a great show. A good dude and a great chat for everybody. We had the full gamut there, which is great. So anyways, listen, we will keep our eyes on everything, what's going to happen in regards to the signing of Ryan Hardie. Let's keep an eye on what's going on with Mullen and Palmer. If anything comes in, any news that's going to break will be there. Also tonight, the Club World Cup is happening too. Keep an eye on that. Thank you, everyone. Keep a lookout for the Shoot the Rehearsal podcast. It's going to be totally different. I think he just convinced me that we're going to do that. What a great community. And what great people we have here too, all around this world. So smash that like button, subscribe. 3001 by the start of the season. We can do that. Mulberry Red, you have a great weekend too. All are very good. Thank you, Esteban and everybody. And on that bombshell, we'll see y'all soon.